Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. And so we have an update that we're going to give you from the Galactic Federation and our contact, Laurel. First, we're going to take a peek over at this, and there's a lot of interesting stuff that we're going to kind of tie together here. You know, to me already, this feels like it's going to be one of my favorite videos ever because of tying different things together.
It's fun. Dot connecting. I like dot connecting.
Dot connecting is so much fun. La Palma rocked by a strong quake as the volcano continues to erupt. The only good news is that so far nobody's been hurt. 1,600 houses destroyed. We have a 4.5 quake. So that's basically the biggest one we have seen over there in this time period. And it's just not stopping.
No, it's not. It's just continuing. But I am so grateful that no one's been hurt. That's amazing.
Yeah, I just want to make sure everything is going good. So we do have something we're going to play from Laurel in a moment, but I wanted to preface it just to give you guys background. Hopefully you have already seen the video that we put out this morning, which was about this White House press briefing when all of a sudden, you know, she's asked a question about basically is, you know, the president, would he declare a national emergency and deploy the military? And the next thing you know, we're looking at La Palma. Now, this is ABC News Live, right? This is ABC, which, like Cindy said, well, what does ABC stand for?
Right. You know, your American Broadcasting.
Yes, the American Broadcasting Company. And it was not from the White House actual live feed. It was the ABC, the American Broadcasting Company's live feed, which was interesting. And, you know, you look at La Palma for about 2.5 minutes, and then there's like a little thing that pops up, kind of like, you know, technical difficulties, and then you're back to the press briefing after. It was curious. It was very curious. It was also interesting to see it happening live and people's reaction as they're watching it. All of a sudden, people, I mean, you know, if you look at some of the comments, there's a lot of people that think that this current administration is run by Satan itself. You know, and, you know, truth is stranger than fiction much of the time. As again, so many times we've said that, you know, if you literally translate that, it means the adversary. And yeah, in that case, for sure. And then people are like, hey, what happened? Why are we looking at a volcano going off? And then people were putting 2 and 2 together saying, oh, are they telling us it's going to go? Big time go. As in that big catastrophic, you know, big wave event. Somebody had corrected me and said, it's not Jennifer Psaki. It's Jennifer Saki. The P is silent. So, you know, I just went over to her Wikipedia just to check it, and she was correct. The P is silent. And I just looked down and I was like, oh, early life education. She's a member of the Chi Omega sorority. That sounded interesting. You know, Chi is life force, right? But then also we have, of course, everything is always in Greek when it comes to these things. So I was looking at the history of the Chi Omega Society. And one of the things that was interesting was that the symbol is a skull and a crossbones. Really? The mascot's an owl. Really? I wonder who exactly really is running this show, and is this perhaps a recruitment center?
I know. You know, when you do dot connecting when you're little, it's fun, but when you get older, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it again. You know, skull and crossbones as the symbol? Okay, well, where have I heard that before? Well, it's the infamous Skull and Crossbones Society at Yale, New Haven, which I've actually been there multiple times, you know, poking around. as it wasn't far away from where I lived. I lived about 12 miles from there. And so, when in New Haven, sometimes I go take a walk on down through the area. Lovely area. Interesting area. 322 and the skull and the crossbones. By the way, the skull is supposed to be the skull of Geronimo, which many people find to be very, very offensive, that you would have this Indian chieftain, Native American chieftain's skull used as a ritual tool that really is kind of, I mean, what if it was Christopher Columbus? Let me just put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then that 322 is interesting too. We have, of course, you might recognize that face. It's a bush. Yes, it's a bush. There's actually been more than one bush that has attended and become part of this secret society of sorts. And you see Taft there as well as the two presidents' bushes. And of course, John Kerry, another member. Many, many, many prominent members are in positions of very high power in the corporate world as well. In 322, well, it's Genesis 322. And the Lord God said, or really the mighty ones, the Elohim said, man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Isn't it not that they're quoting Genesis 3:22? And again, this, when it translates it as Lord God, originally it was Elohim, which is in the plural. And originally, one of the interpretations could be the mighty ones, literally, the powerful ones. This is not source. When you see all these things in the Bible, they're not talking about source. That's the thing that's so hard for so many people to comprehend because of being brought up in the traditional sense. How about their mascot, the owl? Where do we see the owl? You guys remember these pictures? It's the Bohemian Grove. Weaving spiders come not here. Symbol of an owl. What do they mean by that? Weaving spiders come not here. Bohemian Grove, because it's perfectly normal for the world's elite to do mock sacrifices under a giant owl statue. That's what they do.
Of course.
And so Jen Psaki's sorority, that's their mascot's the owl, and the symbol is the skull and crossbones. Are we really surprised, guys? Are we really surprised at all? And as we see Reagan and Nixon, two presidents, and when we, again, if we're just breaking it down into a left-right thing, we're missing half the picture. Because we just looked at all these presidents are Republicans, and they're still part of the inner sanctum, the outer inner sanctum of the controllers on the planet. So I just thought that was really just interesting coincidences, right? Don't you think? What's your thoughts?
Well, it is, because we didn't know that, and now we know all this, and it seems like we just keep running into this same scenario over and over where these people keep coming from, the same chapter out of the same book, with the same rules and the same lines. So, yeah, this is what we got. This is normal.
And these are recruiting centers. This is where they're looking at certain bloodlines. They're looking at certain things. Interesting, too, that this Chi Omega was founded way back in 1895 at the University of Arkansas, and it gives names to the founders with the help of Dr. Charles Richardson, who is an initiate of Kappa Sigma fraternity. Founding chapter is called the PSI chapter. PSI, isn't that kind of curious as well? Because when we think of PSI, and let's see, where am I going with this? Okay, we saw that. It is the 23rd letter of the Greek alphabet. By the way, the symbol looks like a pitchfork, so many people will pick up on that and say, wow, satanic pitchfork, eh? And then, of course, we could also equate that to many other mythologies, Poseidon's trident, maybe even Shiva's trident. But again, that's just pretty interesting in and of itself again. And then what other PSI do you know of? Well, how about psychic PSI? What is PSI? again, it's a term used in anything psychic phenomenon like paranormal, such as telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, psychokinesis. Just thought that was all just fun and curious. So I just wanted to share that with you. And so let us move forward right now, and let's listen to what we have from Laurel. This is the Galactic Federation, and this is about what's going on with La Palma and the bigger picture.
Namaste. How are you today?
We are well. However, we are concerned about the state of affairs the planet is in right now. We are at a very, very important turning point in human evolution, and we do see that many other people share these feelings of change. They feel the change and they see the change, and this is where we get concerned that people may panic and lose sight of their own evolution. We do not want this to happen. There are many things going on in your planet. Some things we see on the timeline that are quite concerning, that do not have to be through this time we have been working together. And for those who listen, you have helped change many timelines that could have been way more difficult. We are up against another timeline change, or we would prefer to see this current timeline changed.
Can you share what you see on this timeline that we need to avert?
We do see expected and unexpected events. We cannot share fully what we see unfolding. However, it can take a toll on evolution of the planet. We are hoping people will keep what is most important in their sight, but they cannot do this without help and encouragement. There will be on this current timeline changes in shipping, changes in food, changes in the treatment that everyone has been contemplating either getting or trying to find ways to avoid getting this treatment. Definitely, things do appear that they are going to get more difficult. We do not wish to frighten anyone or lower any vibrations. We do believe if people are forewarned of these changes and how to put their energy toward a more positive timeline, this is how we can remedy what is happening. Many who listen to our transmissions have extremely powerful abilities to change timelines, to change how things unfold in the ether. They simply need to sit down and focus and concentrate on which timeline they wish to see.
What we saw today with
Hang on there, guys. Technical difficulties. That was interesting. Looks like they just shut it off.
They did.
Let me come back. And we're gonna find where we were. They don't want this getting through.
Timelines to change how things unfold in the ether. They simply need to sit down and focus and concentrate on which timeline they wish to see.
what we saw today with the ABC news feed showing the press briefing today, where the press secretary was giving basically a daily situational update. And the question was put out about the shipping crisis and everything that we see going on. And the question got asked, will we see 24/7 shipping? And would the president declare a national emergency because of the crisis if things got worse? I perceive that's what she was going to say. Then the ABC news feed cut to La Palma. Was this something that was done by somebody working for ABC News that was trying to tell us something? Was this an intercept by benevolent forces warning us, or was this just the opposite? Was this planting seeds of destruction in regards to La Palma by perhaps dark forces?
These are beings who have ill intent, who wish to cause chaos and fear. This was edited by beings who have more control over the media than your One moment, please. This was done by beings who have more control over your media than what they would like to portray. This was out of any normal human's control. These are the darker forces who understand the deeper meaning of human reaction and how to breed fear. However, they were not telling any thing that is untrue. They do want to use lipoma as a very large distraction. The way they are unfolding the information is keeping people on the edge of their seats and very concerned when we need people to be focused on love and focused on their heart chakras and going within. This is a way to constantly pull people out of themselves. This is the darker purpose of this. No one human was in control of that information that changed. This comes from higher up.
So was this actually the EEG that did this?
These beings are another offshoot of the Ajiji. They do take orders from the Ajiji. They were told to do this and cause this interruption. You will see more instances like this. You will see more interruptions and more headlines that are more and more disturbing. We feel if humans understand what is happening and they understand the bigger picture, they will not react out of fear. We are hoping they will go within and learn to use their heart chakras to expand love across the globe to help force out these darker timelines. This is our hope.
You had said once to me that once people realized that the earth was not really truly controlled by humans, Homo sapiens, that would be a big step in moving forward in understanding how we can break free as well.
This is very, very true. Most people understand things when they have self-realizations and they have shifts in their perception. This is when we know humans are growing and expanding. More and more perceptions are shifting to the idea that humans do not control your planet, which is helping the perception of truth, the vibration of truth, come into your planet. The vibration of truth can be a very uncomfortable one. It can change many hearts and minds, and it can change the direction of all of humanity. This can seem frightening at first, but once this vibration of truth deeply penetrates every single human on this planet, it will help force out the darkness even more.
I know from our conversations that you understand very, very well the significance of us having more balanced perspective and understanding the importance of the energies of what we would term the mother or the goddess energy, the Shakti. This is a key to us achieving balance, harmony, and moving upwards, is it not?
Pulling in this vibration is a very, very important key. It is the turning point. It is so extremely important that people accept this vibration of truth so it can penetrate into your energy bodies, into your beings. This will unlock so many doors. It will unchain the minds. It will bring people to an understanding of truth and a knowing of what they need to do next. This is how things start to come together, but it will look like they are falling apart at first. But it is not. People are simply understanding what they need to do to regain their freedom and their sovereignty.
Yes, and we need to move forward. We can't just simply go back to where we were 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
There is no species on the planet that goes backwards. We need constant change. Source needs constant change. You can always count on this, that everything is going to be different. Things never remain the same. This is something that is very important, that needs to be learned from the human mind. Is one thing you can always count on is change.
I think it would help a lot of people because they have a perception. Unfortunately, there are so many that are trapped into a certain tradition's conception of God as being something separate from themselves, as a creator that's not in its creation, or even viewing God, true source with a big G, as having a gender. Can you give us some information on how you view source?
We view source as within, so without, as above, so below. Everything is truly one. People can do a very basic exercise and sit and contemplate on these words. These words are more important than you realize. These are not just words, these are energies that penetrate into your body and bring a deeper understanding, unlocking the DNA of your source, which brings about new understanding, new perceptions, just as source energy wishes to bring. It is like a dream within a dream within a dream. But you never wake. You are constantly experiencing source.
Oh boy, so many things I'd like to ask you, but you know what? I think we should leave it right there because that is something to really, really meditate upon.
We need to release this channel.
So that was Laurel from the Galactic Federation. And I thought that she gave us a very wonderful thing to meditate on. And a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream ad infinitum.
Yep. And you are never really in a waking state. You're always kind of creating your own dream, lucid dreaming.
I don't want to take away from what she gave us because I think we should meditate on that. Meditate on as above, so below, as within, so without. Really meditate on it. Really let it penetrate you. And then that dream within a dream, but I just think that when we look at things from certain perspectives, we could become just blinded by that perspective. One of my favorite religious teachers, leaders, was a Lutheran pastor who's now in Texas. And when I used to go to that church and visited with him and went to his Bible studies, because he was open-minded, and he might quote Lao Tzu or Confucius, or might talk Dharma. He might pull from Buddhism as well. He was not your typical guy. And I asked him, so what do you view as the ultimate purpose of everything? And his answer was, ultimately, we're all co-creators with God. Any way you want to label God doesn't really matter. It's all about creating. It's all about creation. And we're all unique. That's the bottom line. It's not one size fits all. You don't have to become a Jew, or you don't have to become a Hindu. You don't have to become, Catholic or Buddhist or anything. You could just be you. You don't need to be anything, but you should be yourself.
That's really important. One of the things that I did when I was on my waking journey is I pulled from different understandings, and I pulled what felt right in my heart. And then I kind of created, you can just call it Cindy's religion or Cindy's belief system, but I made it mine. Whatever it was, I made it mine and made it work for me, because it did work for me. I blended with it, and that's what I go by. But I leave my mind flexible. I allow myself to change my belief systems, change my perception, because it's all about growth.
It is. It's all about growth. It's all about growth. Thank you guys so much for your support on Patreon and Ko-Fi. We couldn't do it without you guys. Stay prepared as always, but put out those positive vibes. Let's change this timeline. Let's say no. We're not going along with things that we just don't believe in. No, it's just that simple. I'm not going to bend the knee, per se, to something or someone that in my heart I feel is not benevolent, and benevolent for the majority, and it is not in my own best interests, or my spouse's, or the town, the country, the world, and Mother Earth herself.
Yes, and there's so many more of us than there is of them. And I think when we really ponder that and actually accept how many more of us there are, that really changes the whole playing field. Then things seem like, okay, we got this. We can stick together, we can work together, and we can do this.
As always, guys, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.